Hello students, good morning. This is the part 10 of our chapter Work and Energy. Continuing to the previous part, that is part 9, in which we have studied about the transformation of energy. Transformation of energy means changing of energy from one form to another. In previous part we have discussed the example in which a stone is thrown upward and again comes back to thrower. Also there we have studied how the energy gets transformed from the kinetic to potential and again from potential to kinetic in that case. So in this part we will discuss some more examples and understand how the energy is transforming from one form to another. The second example we have here, transformation of energy in simple pendulum. So before going in detail with this transformation, first it is important for us to know what is simple pendulum. So students, let us suppose there is a rigid support. There is a rigid support, and with this support a non-stretchable string is attached. Okay, this is what? This is the non-stretchable string. Okay, so one end of the non-stretchable string is attached with a rigid support, while the other end is attached with a mass. The other end is attached with a mass, and this mass is particularly known as bob of pendulum. Bob of pendulum. Okay, students. Now, this whole system is known as simple pendulum. Simple pendulum. So we can say that simple pendulum is a system consisting of a non-stretchable string whose one end is attached with a rigid support while the other end is attached with a mass, which is known as bob of the pendulum. So this is the simple pendulum. I hope you have understood. Now we have to understand how the energy is transforming in simple pendulum. In order to understand the transformation of energy, first we have to displace this simple pendulum. Again students, I would like to tell you that this position means the position in which the pendulum is at rest or undisturbed position is known as mean position. This is known as mean position of the pendulum, where the pendulum is not disturbing at all. Now I am going to displace this pendulum by a certain height h. Let us say here we have displaced the pendulum by a certain height h. Okay. So the pendulum will move here. Let us say this is the position here. Okay. Again assume that this is the reference level. Now you can see clearly at this position A, the bob is displaced by a certain height. Let us say the height will be h. Okay. Since the bob is displaced at a certain height h from the reference level, so we can say that at this position A, it has the maximum potential energy. Why maximum potential energy? Because it is displaced or it is raised by the maximum height. So at this position A, the simple pendulum has maximum potential energy, that is equals to m into g into h. But again here at this position A, the pendulum rests for a fraction of second, and for that fractions of second it has zero velocity. And if it has zero velocity, then we can say at this position A, it has zero kinetic energy. It means at this position A, the kinetic energy will be zero. Okay, students? Now, when the bob is released from this position A, then it starts coming towards the mean position. As soon as it starts moving towards the mean position, its velocity is going to increase. Its velocity is going to increase, but the height h is going to decrease. Let us consider a position in between here. Let us say this is a position in between the mean position and the position A. Now here you can see that the bomb has a certain height h1 which is less than h. If it has certain height h1, then it must has potential energy. Let us say the potential energy will be mgh1. Also at this position it gains some velocity. Let us say the velocity will be v1. If it gains the velocity v1, then it must have kinetic energy. Let us say the kinetic energy will be Ek equals to half mv1 square. Okay students? So here you have observed that at this position A, the pendulum has only potential energy, no kinetic energy. Here it has some potential energy as well as some amount of kinetic energy. Now when it reaches the mean position, when the bomb reaches at mean position, then it attains the maximum velocity. Let the maximum velocity will be Vm. If it attains the maximum velocity, then we can see at this position the kinetic energy will be maximum, and that is equals to half m into Vm square. Okay students, at the mean position the kinetic energy will be maximum, and that is what half m Vm square. But what will be the potential energy at this position? Since you have observed that this is the reference level and this is the mean position, it means at mean position the pendulum has no height. If it has no height, then we can say the potential energy will be 0. So here at mean position the potential energy Ep equals to 0. Now at this mean position the bomb has attained a maximum velocity Vm. It means it is in motion and it tries to maintain its motion due to inertia. That's why due to inertia it again goes in the other direction of the mean position. Means now the bomb will come here and again attains the maximum height h. Again attains the maximum height h. Let us say this is the position B. Then at this position B, the again bomb rests for a fraction of second. If it rests for a fraction of second, then its velocity will be 0. And if velocity is 0, then it means kinetic energy will be 0. So here at this position B, the kinetic energy Ek is 0 and the potential energy will be maximum because it has attained the maximum height. So here the potential energy will be Ep max, which is equals to mg into the height through which it is as rest h. Okay. Now what you have observed in this whole process, at position A the bomb has only potential energy. In between the mean position and this position A, it has some potential energy and some kinetic energy. From where does this kinetic energy has come? This kinetic energy has come because some of the potential energy out of mgh gets converted into kinetic energy. Again when it comes back to mean position, then it has only the kinetic energy but no potential energy. And when it goes in the other direction of the mean position, again it attains the potential energy, but that is the highest potential energy but no kinetic energy. So here you have observed, first it has potential energy, then whole the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy, again the kinetic energy is converted into potential energy. So there is transformation of energy from potential to kinetic, kinetic to potential, potential to kinetic, kinetic to potential. In this way we can say there is a transformation of energy of mechanical energy in simple pendulum. Okay students, now we will discuss the next example of. Now students, let us see the next example. thermal power plant. It means here we have to understand how the energy is transforming from one form to another in thermal power plant. It is important for us to understand what is power plant. Power plant means generation of electricity. Generation of electricity. And thermal means heat. So thermal power plant is that plant in which there is a generation of electricity with the help of heat energy. When the electricity is generated with the help of heat energy, then that power plant is known as thermal power plant. Now here we have to understand how the energy is transforming from one form to another. So here there is a boiler. This is what there is a boiler, in which a large amount of excess amount of powdered coal is burned. When the coal is burned, then it produces excessive amount of heat. It means here you can see it contains heat energy. It contains what? Heat energy. So there is an excessive amount of heat in this boiler. Now what is going to happen? Water is passed through this pipe with the help of water storage. From water storage, water is passed through this pipe. So here you can see water is flowing. Okay. When it enters the boiler, then in boiler there is an excessive amount of heat. In boiler there is an excessive amount of heat. Due to that excessive amount of heat, the water inside this pipe gets converted into steam due to the heat in the boiler. It means through here steam is passing with a very high pressure, and when the steam is passing with a very high pressure, then it turns the blades of the turbine. It turns the these blades of the turbine, and when the turbine rotates, then it attains some velocity, due to which we can say it has some kinetic energy. Okay. And when the turbine rotates, it rotates the armature of the generator, and generator produces electricity. It means here we can say the electrical energy is produced. The electrical energy is produced. Now what you have observed? Here the coal is burned, due to which heat energy is produced. This heat energy converts the water into steam. When steam flows with a very high pressure, it turns the blades of the turbine. It means here the heat energy is converted into kinetic energy. Again this kinetic energy rotates the armature of the generator, due to which electrical energy is produced. So in this thermal power plant we can see there is a transformation of energy from heat energy to kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy to finally electrical energy. Okay. So I hope you have understood the various forms of energy which is transforming here. First heat energy getting converted into kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy. Okay students. Now let us see the next power plant, that is hydropower plant. Now let us see the hydropower plant. Hydropower plant. In thermal power plant we have understood that the electricity is produced with the help of heat energy. In the same way, in hydropower plant the electricity is generated with the help of hydro means water. Electricity is generated with the help of water. Now here what happened? There is a reservoir in which water is stored at a high H. Okay. Here water is stored at a certain high H, and this water is controlled with the help of a structure which is known as dam. It means we can say dam is a barrier which controls the flow of water. So in reservoir, the water is stored at a certain height. If water is stored here at a certain height, then it has potential energy equals to M into G into H. Now what happens when the gates, these are the gates, when the gates of the dam is opened. If we open the gates of the dam, then what happens? Water from the reservoir starts moving with a very high velocity. Water from the reservoir starts moving with a very high velocity. And when it falls on the turbine, then it rotates the blades of the turbine. As soon as the blades of the turbine is rotating, it rotates the armature of generator, which produces the electricity. So here what we have understood. Here the water is stored at a certain height, so it has potential energy. When the gates of the dam is opened, then water starts flowing with a very high velocity. Due to high velocity, there is what? There is a kinetic energy, because we know water has mass, and if it has very high velocity, then it must have kinetic energy. Okay? And again this kinetic energy rotates the blades of the turbine. As soon as the blades of the turbine rotate, it rotates the armature of generator, and when armature of generator rotates, it produces the electricity, which we call electrical energy. So here the electrical energy is produced. Is it visible? Electrical energy is produced. So what we have understood in hydropower plant, first, due to storage of water at a certain height in reservoir, there is a potential energy. Potential energy. When the gates of the dam is opened, then water starts moving with a very high velocity, due to which it possesses kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. And again this kinetic energy rotates the blades of the turbine, which runs the generator, and electrical energy is produced. So again kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy. So there is a transformation from potential to kinetic, and again from kinetic to electrical energy. So this is the energy transformation in hydropower plant. I hope students you have understood it. Now students, one more thing that is important for us to understand here. Let us see. Here, can you say we have generated the kinetic energy? Does we have generated this kinetic energy, or is it produced by itself? This kinetic energy is produced because of the potential energy of the water stored in the reservoir. It means we can say here the kinetic energy is not produced, kinetic energy is not created, it is converted form of potential energy. Means the potential energy of water is getting converted to kinetic energy. So there is a transformation from potential to kinetic. There is no generation of potential and kinetic energy. There is transformation from potential to kinetic energy. Again, does we have generated this electrical energy? No. This electrical energy is transformed from where? The kinetic energy of water. So again there is a transformation of energy. There is no creation of new energy. There is only transformation of energy. Based on this, we have a law which is known as conservation of law. Means in the whole universe, there is a limit amount of energy. The energy is conserved. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Only it can be transformed from one form to another. In this example here, you can see that we have not created the potential energy of water. The potential energy is because of the water is kept at a certain height in reservoir, and this potential energy is again converted to kinetic energy. So we cannot say we have produced the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is being transformed from the potential energy. Okay students, so I hope you have understood. There is a transformation of energy every time. We cannot create or destroy energy. Let us see one more example here. Suppose when I displace this tester, if I have to displace this tester through a certain height here, then we must have to do some work on it. It means when I am doing some work on this duster in order to raise it through a certain height, then I am losing some muscular energy. Okay, and that muscular energy gets stored as potential energy in this duster. It means the potential energy is not created. It has been transformed from the muscular energy that we have lose. Okay, so there is a transformation of energy from muscular to potential energy. There is no creation of new energy. Okay, in the same way, when you turn on the light of your room, then electrical energy is transformed into light energy. It means everywhere, in every situation, there is a transformation of energy. There is no creation or destroying of energy. There is only transformation of energy from one form to another. Okay, students? That is the law of conservation of energy. So what does the law of conservation of energy state? It states that in the whole universe, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Only it can be converted from one form to another. I hope you have understood. Now let us write the law of conservation of energy. Now what does law of conservation of energy states? It states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can only be converted from one form to another. In other words, what we can say? We can say that for an isolated system, the total energy of the system remains constant, means unchanged. It means total energy of the isolated system before transformation must be equal to total energy of that system after the transformation. If total energy before transformation is even, then total energy after transformation must be even. Okay? So this is the statement of law of conservation of energy. Now we will see derivation of conservation of mechanical energy in a freely falling object. Now let us come to derivation. Now students, let us see conservation of mechanical energy in a freely falling object. Here a term comes mechanical energy. I have already told you that mechanical energy is divided into two parts. One is kinetic energy while the other is potential energy. That's why we have mechanical energy is equal to sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy. Okay, students? Mechanical energy is the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Now if we have to derive that the mechanical energy remains constant at every point in the journey of free fall of an object, then at every point we have to find out the kinetic energy and potential energy. Then we take the sum of these two, that is kinetic and potential. If the sum of these two, that is kinetic and potential energy, will be same at every position in freely falling of an object, then we can say mechanical energy is conserved in the motion. Okay? Now let us try to understand. First let us suppose that this is the ground plane. This is what? This is the ground plane. Okay? And there is an object which is situated at a height h from this ground plane. It means this height is how much? This height will be equal to h. Okay, students? Since this object is situated at a certain height h, it means it is at rest at this position. If it is at rest at this position, let us say the position is A, then we can say the velocity at the position A will be 0. Velocity at the position A will be 0. Now, when it is dropped from this height, then what happens? It starts coming towards the ground. Let us consider some more position when it is moving towards the ground. Let us take another position here of this object B. Now at this position B, it acquires some velocity. Let us say the velocity will be BB here. And we take one more position when this object is just about to touch the ground level. When it is just about to touch the ground level. Let us say this is the next position C. C is which position? C is that position of object when it is just about to touch the reference or ground level. Okay. And at this point it attains the maximum velocity. Let us say this maximum velocity is Vc. Okay students, I hope this much is clear to you. Now again, let us say the distance from the position A to the position B is x. This position is how much? This distance is how much? X. If distance from A to B is x and the total height is h, then we can say distance from B to C will be h minus x. So this distance is what? This distance is how much? H minus x from the ground level. Okay students, I hope this much is clear to you. Now in order to derive that mechanical energy is conserved at each point A, B and C, we have to take kinetic energy and potential energy at the point P and take the sum. Again we take kinetic energy and potential energy at the point B and take the sum, and similarly for the point C. If we find the sum of kinetic and potential at these positions A, B and C is equal, then we will be able to say that the mechanical energy is conserved in the freely falling of object. So what we are going to do? First we determine the kinetic and potential energy at the position A. Now let us try to identify. At position A, is it visible students? At position A, okay, I hope it is visible. Okay students? Yes, it is visible. Now let us see. At position A, let us say the kinetic energy will be Eka and the potential energy will be Epa. So here we can write the kinetic energy Eka equals to half mVa square. Okay, because the velocity at this point A is V. Now again it is given Va is equals to 0 because the object is situated here. So what we can write? Half m into 0 square, so it is equals to 0. It means kinetic energy at the position A is 0. Now potential energy Epa. Potential energy at the position A equals to mg into height at the position A. Now how much height it has attained at position A? You can see it has the height equal to h. So what we can write? mg, and in place of ha we can write h. So the potential energy is mgh. Now we have the kinetic energy equal to 0 and potential energy equal to mgh. Now how we identify the mechanical energy? Mechanical energy, you know, sum of the kinetic and potential energy. So here we can write total mechanical energy at position A equals to kinetic energy at the position A, Eka, plus potential energy at the point A, Epa. Now Eka is 0 plus Epa is mgh, so it is equals to mgh. Okay students, so I hope it is clear to you. At position A, the total mechanical energy is equal to mgh. Now in the same way we will find total mechanical energy at the point B and at the point C also. So let us see. at position B, at position B. At position B, let us say the kinetic energy will be EkB. So what we can write? EkB. EkB is equals to half mvv square, velocity at the point B. But you don't know what will be the velocity at the point B. So first let us calculate the value of velocity at the point B. So how we calculate? Here we calculate. You know the equation of motion v square minus u square equal to 2as, where s is the displacement from the initial position. Okay, here the initial position is the A, so we take the displacement from the point A. Now here v is the final velocity, so what will be the final velocity? Vv. So we can write here Vv square minus u is what? Va. So we can write Va square equals to 2 into A. In place of A we can write G. So here we write G into S. S is what? Displacement from the starting position. This is the starting position, and now the object is at the position B. Then how much it has displaced? It has displaced by x. So what we write here? X. Again Va is equal to 0. So what we can write? Vb square minus 0 square equal to 2gx. So what we have? Vb square equals to 2gx. Let us substitute this value here. So here what we can write? Half into m into, in place of Vb square we can write 2gx. 2gx, 2 and 2 cancel out. What we have? mgx. So mgx is the kinetic energy at the point B. Now let us find the potential energy at the point B. So potential energy EB, potential energy at point B, it will be equal to mg into hb. Now you can see at this position B, the object is at a height h minus x from the ground level. The object is at a height h minus x from the ground level. So here we can write mg into, in place of hb we can write h minus x. If we multiply mg within the bracket, then what we get? mgh minus mgx. Okay students, so this much is the potential energy and this is the kinetic energy. Now total mechanical energy. Total mechanical energy, is it visible? Total mechanical energy at the point B. Total mechanical energy at the point B will be equal to kinetic energy at the point B plus potential energy at the point B. How much is the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is mgx plus potential energy is mgh minus mgx. Now here mgx and minus mgx cancel out, and what we get? mgh. It means again the total mechanical energy at the point B is mgh, and we have already found the total mechanical energy at the point A is also mgh. Now if at the position C we find the total mechanical energy is mgh, then we can say the mechanical energy remain conserved in this case. Okay, now let us find the total mechanical energy at the point C. Here is it visible? Now let us see total mechanical energy at point C. So in order to find the total mechanical energy, first we have to find the kinetic and potential energy at position C. So kinetic energy Ek at point C equals to half mvc square. Now again we don't know the value of Vc, so first let us calculate the value of Vc with the help of this equation. V square minus u square equals to 2as. Now what we can write? V square minus u square is equal to 2s. In place of V is the what? Final velocity. So final velocity is Vc. So Vc square minus U is what? Initial velocity. So initial velocity is Va square equal to 2 into, in place of A we can write G into, in place of S, how much, now how much the body is displaced, object is displaced from the starting position A. Now when it comes at the position C, then you can see that it has displaced by a distance h. So in place of S, what we write? H. So here we have Vc square minus Va is 0, so 0 square equals to 2gh, and from here we get Vc square equal to 2gh. Let us write Vc square equal to 2gh here. So what we get? Half m into 2gh. 2 and 2 cancel out, so it is equals to mgh. So the kinetic energy at this point C is equal to mgh. Now let us find the potential energy. So potential energy at this point C equals to mg into h. Now students, I have already told you, C is that position when the object is just about to touch the ground level. It means it has negligible height, or you can say zero height. If it has zero height at this position C, then in place of hc we can write 0. So what we can write? M into G into 0. So it is equals to 0. It means at this position C, kinetic energy is mgh while the potential energy is 0. Now let us find the total mechanical energy at the point C. Here we can write total mechanical energy at point C equal to what? Kinetic energy at the point C plus potential energy at the point C. So Ek C plus Ep C. Okay students? Now Ek C is how much? mgh. mgh plus potential energy is how much? 0. Okay? So it will be equal to mgh. Okay students, it is equals to mgh. So what we have observed? We observed that at position A, the total mechanical energy is mgh. At position B, the total mechanical energy is mgh. And at position C also, the total mechanical energy is mgh. It means everywhere in the journey of freely falling object, the total mechanical energy remains the same, mgh. Hence we can say the mechanical energy remains conserved in the motion of freely falling object. Okay students? So this is the derivation of conservation of mechanical energy in freely falling object. In the next part we will see what we mean by power and commercial unit of energy. Thank you students.